Hello everyone, welcome to Twisted Serenity with Mimi. Thanks for clicking on my channel. Today I am so excited to say that I participated in the Flipping for Fall challenge hosted by these wonderful ladies. I want to say thank you to these ladies. They have been so kind and so welcoming. In my description box there is a playlist with everyone else's videos, so make sure you click on that. I guarantee you will have so many ideas for this upcoming holiday season. Now sit back and relax or craft with me. Let's get started. Okay, so for our first one, I picked up this wood round sign last year at Walmart. It was only $3. I kid you not. It was on clearance after summertime. So I just started by ripping off the bow, and I ripped off all the paper. And I ripped off the little sign, and I was happy to say that I was actually able to salvage the little hello sunshine for a future project. Now this took a little bit of elbow grease to do, but I got it done. And I am taking off that little hanger because we are using the back as well. You guys don't understand, with those little scrapers from Dollar Tree, those are a game changer. Make sure you pick them up for $1.25. They bring about 6 in a pack. So I sanded everything down. I have everything off. Now I'm using some painter's tape, and I taped off part of the top and the bottom. I am going to paint our bottom part in our Waverly chalk paint in the color pumpkin, and the top where I taped it off, I'm going to paint it in our Waverly chalk paint in the color maize. Then in the middle, where that spot is right there, where everything's taped off at, I am going to paint that with our Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. Now, I removed the painter's tape, my favorite part, and now the areas where the painter's tape was at, I'm just going to use the painter's tape, and because I'm not taking no more, I'm cheap like that, and just line it up again, and I'm going to paint those colors with the color cashew. I didn't want to give this board just one base color. I wanted it to have all different fall, Halloween type colors. If you're a return subscriber, I want to say thank you and let you know I do appreciate you. If you're new and you're coming from the playlist, please consider subscribing to my channel. I like to do farmhouse decor, holiday decor, anything you could think of, I would like to do. Granted, yes, I'm getting started, but there's so much more to come. Now that I have it all painted, I take my Waverly wax and I dry brush over it. I love my dry brushing, my distressing. I'm sorry you don't have to do this if you don't like that whole dry brushing type and stuff, but it's something I love to do. So once I'm done, I have everything painted. I do stain it with Waverly chalk paint, antique wax, the baby wipe effect, paint it on and wipe it right off. Okay, so now I picked up these window clings from Dollar Tree, and I thought this would be perfect. Instead of using the Cricut for this one or anything like that, I was like, oh my god, these window clings would fit perfectly on this wood round. Well, it's not really wood, but MDF, but it would fit perfectly on this round, and the colors would just go so great with it. So I'm just placing them how I want them, and then I take Mod Podge, and you could use school glue, or don't use hot glue though. I'll say stay away from that. I did that one time. I don't know what I was thinking. We attach them on and just rub your finger on it so it could just take out any of the air bubbles. And once those are placed on, I waited for it to dry, and I took my Waverly wax and I just distressed over the letters so the whole image could just blend a little bit more, because to me it looked a little bit plasticky when I did add them on. Okay, so I have these bats that I picked up from Dollar Tree, of course, Dollar Tree, and they were like a little too glittery, so I just wanted them to look a little bit more like a flat color. If you like the glitter, just leave them with the glitter. So I painted them with Waverly in the color ink. Now these magnets from Dollar Tree in the Crafty Square, I attached, they have an adhesive. Peel off the adhesive if you want, or what I did for extra hold, I just used some hot glue and I attached it to the back of the bat. And I did that to both of the bats. Then I took these same magnets and I took 2 of them and I glued 2 onto the board where I wanted them to be placed at. And the reason why I attached the bats with magnets, since it's going to be a flip sign, we could take the magnets, well, the bats, on and off when we flip it around. First side is done. We flip this around and we paint this whole entire thing with Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. Wait till you guys see the final of this one. It is gorgeous. Like, this has to be one of my favorite ones, even one of my favorite projects that I have ever done. Now Dollar Tree has all these wood like little sayings, and I mean, I have probably one each of every one. I don't know, I'm not making sense. Anyways, I cut off the hanger and I painted with the color cashew. Then once I painted, I forgot I had to fill up the holes. So I just took some wood filler, I filled up the holes, and then I just repainted a little bit over it. Once I painted it with the color cashew, I did take my Waverly Antique Wax and I did distress over the letters, and I did go like a little bit heavier on the edges of the letters as well. I wanted a little pop of color on this little wood sign, so I took my territorial beige by Apple Barrel and I painted the leaf, and then I distressed over it with Waverly Wax and the color cashew. Okay, so now I have these little maple leaves and they have an assortment of, different colors. So I took my hot glue gun on light temp and I put some on the back of the leaf and I placed it down, and I made sure that the end of the leaf met the edge of the wood round, and I just alternated between colors and I wrapped my whole entire board like this. Okay, so once I had my whole entire board with my leaves, look at how gorgeous that looks. I took this nautical rope from Dollar Tree. You know what? Let me stop saying from Dollar Tree. And if it's from somewhere else, I'll let you guys know, because mostly everything is from Dollar Tree. And this is the thinner one. And I just wrapped it completely entirely around the board. And I'm sorry for the lighting. I don't know what was going on. So there's parts of this video that the lighting's okay, and then it goes completely off. I don't know what was going on. Now, when I got to the edge of the nautical rope, you cut it at an angle and just attach it with the hot glue to meet the other end. Now we're going to pick up our little Harvest Wishes sign. We put some hot glue on there and we put it down onto our sign. And look at how beautiful, you guys. This is so fall, but it looks so high-end at the same time. I'm in love with this. Now we need a way to hang our little board. So these little eye hooks from Dollar Tree. I use my little pokey tool. I just poke it in there. I twist these little eye hooks in. 2 of them, one from the right side, one for the left side. Then I grab this yarn and twine and I just hold it down and I make a little braid out of it, because I needed it to be a little bit thicker and I didn't want to put like a big thing of nautical rope on it, but I wanted it to match both sides as well. So I make my little braid out of it. I put them inside the eye hooks. I double knot it, and look it. I'm so in love. I'll just leave it at that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Okay, you guys, so I have this piece of scrap wood, and this is about 26 inches long. It's a 1x4. Now, this is not going to be a flip one, but I promise you, you're going to be able to use it for different seasons. Now, I'm just staining the board with Special Walnut by Minwax. Is it Mini Wax, Minwax? Whatever it is, but it's Special Walnut. Now, I made these stencils using my Cricut, and I just take my Waverly ink chalk paint, and I'm just going to dab it with my Dollar Tree, what do you call this brush? Like a bristle brush, or I don't know, but I use it for stenciling because these brushes are awesome. Now, I go down every single letter, and as you can see right now, we do not have an O. And you can also see, I'm a single mom, you guys. You're gonna see my baby grab everything. When I do crafts, he's right there with me doing his crafts as well. So if I would edit him out of every single video, I mean, all my videos would have no content in it at all, because he's always right there. But oh, I love him. I wouldn't change it for the world. Now, once I finish stenciling it, I just peel back the stencil paper, or vinyl, whatever you call it, and look at how gorgeous those came out. So nice. Now, if you're a crafter, you guys, I know you guys have a collection of these Dollar Tree wood ornaments. I'm not only a Dollar Tree crafter, I'm a Dollar Tree hoarder as well. Now, I just take out a bunch of different kinds for the seasons. I fill the holes, and I just paint them how I want them. And have fun when you're doing this. Like, when you're painting these, just have fun, paint them, you know, different colors, add pops of colors to them. And there goes baby Ace's little chunky hand again. And yep, he's always there. Now he's gonna eat his snack. You know, we send him in his chair, and he just wants to be right there next to mama. Okay, you guys, I had to leave this in there. I gave him a couple ornaments to paint, and it just turned into the biggest mess ever. He goes crazy with the paint, and I went crazy cleaning up the mess. I mean, there was his little handprints all over my body once he was done. Okay, you guys, so we have these little Velcro fastener dots, and on each sheet they have the Velcro part and then the fastener part, whatever you call it. So I take the fastener part, I'm not saying that right, but that part, and I glue it right in between our C and our M. Now, the Velcro, the other part of the Velcro, I glue one to each of our little wood shapes. And that is it, you guys. We could change this sign for every season. Look at how gorgeous this is. Okay, so we got this sign from Dollar Tree. Now, I removed all the, the paper from it, and I filled up the holes. I did not need to fill up the holes because I am going to cut this down. So I filled up the holes basically for no reason. Now, I didn't want the sign that we're doing now to be that long, so I just cut it. And you just could score this a couple times and it breaks off pretty easily, and then just sand it right down. So now I took it and I painted it with Truffle by Waverly Wax. So once I painted it, Ace got into it and he painted it with the lighter brown. When I looked at it, I actually liked the lighter brown, so I did paint over it with the color Khaki by Apple Barrel. And I left the top of it with the darker truffle color. Now, I grabbed this piece of scrap wood and I painted with our truffle color as well, because we are going to make a little scarecrow and we need that little part at the top. Okay, so I distress it with Cashew by Waverly Wax, and then I glue it on at a little angle. Now I take these little pieces of burlap and I just cut them into like little random tiny pieces, and I do fringe it. So I basically pull some pieces out to give it that fringe look, and I just place it all around the hat. Now this part you could go crazy and do as you please and decorate it as you please. And now I'm grabbing some raffia. Unfortunately, I did glue down my little stick, so I had to pull it back up because I wanted the raffia to be like the little scarecrow's hair. So I pulled it up and then I just glued it right back down again. Now this project was Pinterest inspired, but I just did give it I gave it like a little twist and made it my own. So once I did all that, I take my little sunflower and I glue my little sunflower on just to give it a little pop of color. Now you guys, I didn't want to use my Cricut or anything like that, so I freehanded it. I drew it on. I never drew anything on. I never painted on. So I was like a little intimidated. It took me a while. It was a lot of trial and error, but I drew on my little face and I painted my little face. It took me some time, but I got it done. It's not the best, but it's my own, and I actually like it. I like it a lot. As you guys can see, I was like really into it because my big head and messy hair just keep going right into the frame, and I just took a small little detail brush, and that's how I was able to just get like little small lines, because if not, it would have been a big blob of mess everywhere. So I drew on my little face, and then I had taken some pink and white little paint, and I made him have some little blushy cheeks, or her, it could be whatever. And after I was done painting my entire face, I took some raffia. Now this comes like in a 3-pack from Dollar Tree that has 3 different colors. I cut some up and I made like basically like a little bow, and I glued it on to my little scarecrow's neck. I wrapped it with some little orange gingham ribbon that I picked this up during Easter time at Dollar Tree. Once I was done wrapping it up, I added a little button to the front, and this is so stinking cute, you guys. Check it out. Okay, you guys, let's turn it around and give our little scarecrow buddy a little winter friend. So we paint our little board with white chalk paint. Now once we have the whole entire bottom painted white, we grab our Waverly ink chalk paint and we paint the top of it. And we're also going to grab a piece of scrap wood, and we will paint the piece of scrap wood with the ink chalk paint. Now this is a reminder, you guys, please consider subscribing to my channel, hit that like button, and comment down below. Now, if you're coming from the playlist and somebody else's channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. And just let you guys know, I do appreciate you, and I do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my video. And I want to say thank you to the wonderful hosts. Once again, you guys are so kind and so welcoming. So let you guys know, I do thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Now, when you guys are going to glue down this little piece of scrap wood, you're going to glue it at an angle too, and make sure that you match it basically to the back where our scarecrow's little hat was. So you don't want it to be in a different direction or going in a different direction. So now these little snowflake ornaments, I take them out and I paint a couple of them with white paint. Now I take my little bristle brush thing from Dollar Tree, that's what I'm going to call it, and I do distress our little top hat. Now I take my little detail brush. I mean, this tip is very, very small, and like I said, I'm freehanding everything, so I am intimidated, and it's not perfect, you guys, but I really did try, and I really did like it because it was really, really my own. And I just drew basically some snow, well, what to me looked like a little snow trail on the top of the hat. Now, I didn't show you guys when I took this one out and painted it, but this is one of the larger snowflake ornaments. So I basically wanted it to match kind of like where I put the sunflower at. So I laid this one down and then I glued a little snowflake on top of it. And then I took some of the snowflakes and I just arranged them around the hat and decorated our little snowman hat. Now here we go again, you guys. I'm freehanding the face. So, yes, I'm freehanding the face. But before that, I felt like the hat was like a little too black and white. So I took sterling silver from Folk Art. I love this paint. And I just painted the larger snowflake. And I did take whatever was left on my paintbrush. And I just kind of dry brushed the top of the hat. Now, that little detail paintbrush, that's what I'm using to make the face. As you can see, I did not draw a mouth, and you're going to see why I did not draw a mouth now. When we build our snowman outside, what do we use for the mouth? Little buttons. So this is just a collection of buttons that I have from my Dollar Tree ones, my Walmart ones, and I just made a little mouth with the button. Now I grabbed this, what am I trying to think of? This buffalo check. Oh my god, buffalo check ribbon from Michaels, and I did not pay $14.99. I only paid $2.99 last year when it was on clearance. I mean, $2.99, you cannot beat that for all this ribbon. And I just make a little bow out of it. And like I said before in my previous videos, I am no expert at bows. As you guys could see, I added a little bow on top of our snowflake. I mean, a little button on top of our snowflake hat. And now I'm going to add a little snowflake on our little bow. And then I'm going to add a little button on top of our little snowflake so everything could coordinate. Now I'm grabbing 6 Jenga blocks and I'm painting 3 white, the color of the snowman, and 3 khaki, the color of our scarecrow. And I attach the 3 together and I just glue it to the front of each of the faces so it could be a standing up frame, so we don't have to hang it, we don't have to lean it. It could just stand on its own. Okay, you guys, this one's very simple, cute, and easy, I should say. We have a 5x7 Dollar Tree canvas, and we're just ripping off all the staples on it. We're even going to rip off the staples on the 4 corners, the ones that hold the canvas together. Now, this is completely optional. You don't have to do it, but this is how I did it. Now, I'm going to sand it down a little bit because you see from all this removing the staples, it has a bunch of holes. Now, you guys, this little piece of board is left over from our little Scarecrow and Snowman DIY. So I just took it and I just traced out the inner of the canvas. And now I just used my box knife and I scored it and just cut it. Now I wanted our little inside piece to be right in the middle of the canvas, because you know sometimes when you put like pieces in when you're making like your own picture frame, it goes more to the back of the canvas. So I wanted it to be right in the middle, so that's why I broke the canvas into 2. So I could glue that right into the middle. You don't have to break off the canvas into 2, but I found it to be easier. So I'm just using a combination of wood glue and hot glue, and I'm just reassembling the canvas onto our middle piece. Fill those holes if you need to. I filled up a couple of them, but I did leave some because I like it because it gives the frame character. And then I am just going to stain with Waverly wax. Antique wax. I'm going to stain our picture frame. Now for our first side, I'm taking Waverly ink and I'm painting our backing in the color ink. Now once it was dried, I made this decal using my Cricut, and it just says, very simple, let it snow. I transferred it onto there, once again with my big head in the way. Now, if you guys were going to recreate this, the font for the Let It Snow is DTC Sahara Smooth. I believe it's Sahara Smooth, yes. And I did pull up a little bit of the black paint, so I just retouching that up. And then I'm going to take one of those little snowflake ornaments. I mean, those are so just stinking cute. And I glued one on there. Now I take my folk art sterling silver and I just dry brush over our picture frame just to give it a little bit of, you know, that winterly feel. And that is it, you guys, for this side. Look at how pretty this came out. Okay, let's flip it over and let's do our other side now. We grab our Waverly chalk paint in the color moss, and we're going to paint our entire back end with that color. Okay, you guys, so once we have it all dried up, I grab another decal that I made, and I believe this font was BTC French Bread, I think it was called. And I just, very simple, like I said, give thanks. I transferred it on there. Now, these little wood pieces were from Hobby Lobby last year, you know, 40 or 50% off. I glued them on there. I did some dry brushing with the color cashew just to tone down the black vinyl. It was a little too shiny. I didn't have no matte color. And that was it, you guys. How beautiful. Okay, you guys, my final one. Another Easter sign. Like I said, I don't know why I have said this before. I don't know why I have so many Easter signs. I think around Easter I just go crazy and grab a bunch of everything. So I'm just ripping off that carrot because you always save every little piece on your little boards because you never know what you could use it for. And I'm just going to clean it up like we done to every single one. And like I said, if you guys not have grabbed one of these scraper packs, go grab one. These are awesome, especially if you do what I do and repurpose signs. Give it a quick sand, and then we are going to paint it with Waverly ink. Okay, you guys, so I grabbed these little ghost wood ornaments from Dollar Tree, of course, and I'm just going to fill the holes on the top of them. So once I fill up the holes and I just give them a quick little sanding down, I do paint all our little ghosts with white chalk paint. Now, you could use as many. I took out 4 because I'm going to personalize this. That's how many kids I have. Remember, you can make your board longer, smaller, take out as many ghosts as you want, but as many kids as you have, that's how much ghost that you want per each ghost per child. Once they're painted white, I took orange and white twine that I had from Easter time as well, and I made little bows. Now, for the boys, I put bow ties, and for my daughter, I put a bow in her hair, in her head. So I have my oldest, the twins, and the baby. 3 boys and a girl. Okay, so now I take my board and my ghosts and I'm going to just place them down where I want them. Now I took this other image I made with my Cricut, and the font is Frightful Affair, I believe it was, and I just transfer it to the top. Look at how cute it says our boos, my little babies. I love them so much. So once I transferred it on, I picked up my little ghost pieces and I just glued them right on there. Now, like I said, I was going to personalize this. So, of course, I made images with their names on them. And from birth order, I just put them right on there and I attached them on to the little ghosts. So each one of my kids for Halloween, they're like a little ghost image in my house. This is so much fun. This was so much fun to create. Like I said, it's personalized and it's just so stinking cute. Okay, let's flip that bad boy around and let's go on to our last one. So the back of our sign, we are going to paint the entire thing with Waverly chalk paint in the color cashew. Okay, so while that's drying, we grab our little wood pumpkin pieces and we're going to do the same thing. 4 of them, my 4 little children, and I'm just going to fill the top and I'm going to sand it all down. Once I have it all sanded down, I take my Waverly chalk paint in the color pumpkin and I paint all my little pumpkins. Now our pumpkins are painted and dried. We are going to lay them out and space them out how we want it on our board. Now I did this little decal using my Cricut as well, and I'm actually surprised that this was Dollar Tree vinyl and it worked out pretty good. And I just transferred it right onto our board. And I believe the font for the welcome to it was BTC flannel shirt. I mean, these fonts are weird names, but they're cute fonts, but they're really, really weird names. So all I just wrote was welcome to our pumpkin patch. I'm just weeding out the little tiny pieces, and then I am going to glue our pumpkins on there once we have our wording the right. And like I said, I was personalizing it, so I put my kids' names on the little pumpkins. Now for this one, you guys could do like a whole family one and add your husband or wife's name on it. I just decided to leave it just for the kids. Now I grabbed some raffia. I cut down a couple pieces, and then I just used another piece of raffia just to double knot it right in the middle of the raffia pieces that I cut. And I attached them to each of the little pumpkins to use as like little bows, a little bit of decoration. And that was it for this part. Okay, you guys, I wanted a border for this, so I grabbed these 1/4 inch dowel rods that I had, and I just measured them to the side of the board, and I cut 2 pieces to fit the side, and I cut 2 pieces to fit the top and to fit the bottom. And I just cut them using my miter shears, very easy. And once I cut them down, I took my hot glue and I glued on the sides first, because like I said, I wanted the middle part, like our whole picture frame, our picture to be in the middle of our picture frame. So that's why I glued the side pieces first, so I could make sure it was in the middle. Then I glued the top, and then I glued the bottom. And you guys, I'm in love with this one, and I love it more because it's my kids. It's my world, basically. They're my world, and it's like my kids in a little holiday picture frame. It can't get any better. I think I'm gonna do one for Christmas as well. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I had so much fun participating in this Flip for Fall challenge. Thank you to the host once again for having me. Don't forget to comment your favorite down below, like, share, and subscribe, and turn on that bell notification to be notified when I post my next video. Make sure you check out the description box, and it will lead you to the next video of the Flip for Fall challenge. Remember, this world could always throw twists and turns, but always make good choices. To the next one, you guys.